Yes.
I feel like OnlyFans is just another sort of iteration, evolution of where we're going with the internet and with social media.
Yes, but also it's another platform where, the degradation of women, right?
Yeah,
And we've talked about this we've talked about the whole culture, and we've talked about how women are perceived and how difficult it is raising daughters and trying to influence them in the other direction to say, you know what? No, like you are not your body. And then there's all these platforms.
Welcome to the Womanhood Lectures, where we bring you topics and discussions on issues that matter to you, the modern day woman. I'm Yasmin.
And I'm Lyra. Please like and subscribe to our show. We are on YouTube as well as Rumble, and you can actually catch us on Spotify as well.
Thank you. All right. So today I wanted to talk about something that I thought was really interesting, and I think it's a women's issue.
Okay.
So I wanted to talk to you about OnlyFans.
Okay.
Now, do you know anything about OnlyFans, or are you familiar at all? Maybe some of our listeners are, or some of them are not. I don't know.
I just know the joke about it. Like,
what's the joke?
I use it as a joke, actually.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
I say, like, especially as a realtor, I'm like, if I can't sell a house, I'm going to set up an OnlyFans.
You're going to set up an OnlyFans account?
Yes. Or if I need a down payment for a house,
let's go to
let's set up an OnlyFans.
That is so funny, because the joke in my house is, let's do some feet pics and post them on OnlyFans, right?
Feet?
Yeah, feet.
Okay.
Yeah, all kinds of different.
So then I must not know enough about OnlyFans.
Fetishes.
Yeah. Okay. It's fetishes.
Well, so there probably are out there. So here's the thing. So for those of you who aren't very familiar with it, it is an online streaming platform that started in 2016, and so it's fairly new. And so it's really an online streaming platform similar to YouTube or any other social media platform, where content creators can go on there, create an account, and start putting content out there.
Okay.
Sounds pretty straightforward.
Kind of like what we're doing now.
Right. The difference with OnlyFans is that the content you put out there is going to be strictly exclusive to your fans. So people have to buy into your account. Typically content creators will set up a subscription type of model where you subscribe to their account, and then they will put content out exclusively to only people who pay for it. So generally speaking, and I think there's also ways that you can get paid, say paid per view. So you would put a picture up or send a video out to a subscriber, for example, and get paid directly from that subscriber for that particular piece of content.
Right.
Okay, so that's the model that's essentially it's running under. So again, sounds pretty much like, okay, I can get paid directly. I can set up my own content. And if you think about it, I would imagine that a lot of celebrities, at some point might have, thought about doing something like that where, they post on social media, they're out and about all the time. People take pictures of them, paparazzis, like all this content and pictures of them are floating around for free on the internet, and they're not able to monetize that. So you would think that maybe something like this would allow people to monetize that content directly.
Okay.
The thing that's happened with the thing that's really different about this particular site is that it allows explicit sexual content. So you can have explicit porn, you can have nude pictures, video of yourself, and a lot of people are raking in money with these accounts. A lot of sex workers are using this particular platform because, well, it's kind of a safer way for them to work. So that's kind of the running joke, is that, OnlyFans are basically mostly for, contributing to the porn industry and mostly contributing to the sex worker industry.
Got it. Yeah.
So that's kind of where it's gone. I don't know if, who knows if that was the intent but that's kind of where it's at right now. So that's, with that being
Should
said,
I be taking notes on this?
can you imagine?
No, I couldn't.
So yeah, I'm just kind of like your thoughts on that.
Well, I honestly, our society is just so messed up. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's nothing that surprises me. Like when you're talking about feet, and talking about fetishes or anything of that sort. I know that there's always been a portion of the web that's been, a dark web or questionable. And I know there's like Pornhub, and I know there's other porn sites, but OnlyFans has been something that's just been talked about a lot, because I think even young people are doing it to get themselves through college, right?
Yes. Now you have to be 18 to set up an account to be a content creator. However, I don't really know how strictly they would be able to uphold those guidelines. Because let's just say my 16-year-old daughter looks like she's 18, gets some fake ID, uploads it to the system. How are they going to check?
Ugh.
Really?
Right.
So there are minors that I'm sure that are on there. I don't know what percentage of the content creators are, because, obviously they're not supposed to be, but they can be, right? So there are a lot of teenage girls who could potentially be on this site, who could be having their fans. And, that's a time in their life when admiration from other people is such a high currency for them, right? So I can see how alluring it would be.
So is there a type of person that like subscribes to OnlyFans, like a type of, I don't know, I'm going to assume that majority of the people that are content creators on OnlyFans are women.
I would probably safely say that, yes.
So, I mean, I don't personally know any men that subscribe to OnlyFans.
But probably that's probably their audience. Yeah, that's probably their audience, right?
So is there a type of person that would be, subscribing to this? Like, is this like, how big is it? It's pretty big, right?
It's big. Oh, I'll give you some numbers on that. So right now, let's just say there are 2 million creators on the website.
Wow.
200 million consumers on this site. And just to give you an idea of like money, the CEO of this site is making last year for the year of 2023 around. The last numbers I saw was they were making about 1.3 million per day off of that site.
Wow.
So just think of those numbers. Think of how many people are buying into this. It's fascinating.
It is.
I guess for some people it would be terrifying. I think as a parent it would be terrifying for me. To think that 100%. My kids could have access to it, because let's be real. Our kids have unfettered access to so much on the web. It's very, very difficult to keep track of all of it.
For sure.
To keep on top of it and to even know what they're accessing. There's new stuff all the time that I'm lucky in the sense that pretty much my kids generally give me a good idea of what's going on. And still they're kids, they're teenagers. They're going to hide stuff. They're going to do stuff that they don't want you to know about. A few years ago when my kids were younger, it was Snapchat. And I didn't realize that on Snapchat, for example, your stuff can disappear after 24 hours. You can post anything you want. And then that content's gone, right? Good or bad. Because then that gives you the idea that I can just post anything I want. It'll eventually disappear, but it's been seen. But people started taking screenshots of the stuff you were sending them. So whether it was messages or pictures or whatever, and then holding that against you.
Right.
Or, these ways that kids kind of blackmail each other, right? Or cyberbully. So that was a whole big thing,
sure.
Right?
Yes.
I feel like OnlyFans is just another sort of iteration, evolution of where we're going with the internet and with social media.
Yes, but also it's another platform where there's the degradation of women, right?
Yeah.
And we've talked about this we've talked about the whole culture, and we've talked about how women are perceived and how difficult it is raising daughters and trying to influence them in the other direction to say, you know what, no, like you are not your body. And then there's all these platforms. For example, TikTok. I just downloaded it like recently because I'm on it now, and I'm like, I never had it on my phone, but I keep getting like messages saying this person liked this video. And then when I go to look at it, it's just content that I think it's like a waste of my 20 seconds of life. Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is happening. TikTok, it's happening. All of our kids are using it. Not sure. My kids don't have it on their phones, but I know your kids are on it. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So TikTok is something that is huge. It's absolutely massive. So
Very
it's a
hard to
scary
avoid.
thing. It's a scary thing. And then the content on there, you can't control it, right? You
No,
can't
you
control
definitely can't. You definitely
what
can't.
really is being pushed. And
And the thing
information
is,
that's
all
on
of
there.
these social media platforms, once you kind of get into the algorithm and you're looking at specific content, it starts feeding you more and more and more of what you like.
Right.
Which again, makes sense from a logical perspective, from the app's perspective. Very difficult then to get out of an algorithm,
Right.
if you're the end user, right?
100%.
And like you really have to say, no, I don't like this, or put this out, and you have to do so much filtering.
If your phone
yourself.
is on you,
Yeah.
and you don't have the right controls, on your app, it listens to you.
Oh God.
In your day.
Yeah,
and then sends you content.
Absolutely,
based
and that
on
happens
that.
on every
So,
social media
yes.
platform.
So
I feel
Facebook
now.
does that. Instagram, I know,
Instagram,
does
for
that. Will
sure.
send you certain reels. Like if you're talking about, oh, my husband is like annoying. All of a sudden, you have like reels about your husband being annoying.
Silly, or silly videos,
right?
Between like
husband
and wife, where they're like pranking on each other and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of delve into the psychology behind OnlyFans. Why do people, first of all, why are content creators on there? And I think it's, you know, a little bit beyond, oh, I just want to, you know, show skin or whatever. And then I think also, why is there such a pull for people to consume content in this way? You can get free content on all sorts of websites, including porn websites.
Right.
Tons of free content out there. Why would you pay for it? From an average person, like I've seen people posting videos on YouTube about how they started their account a year ago. I literally watched this woman this morning. She is an ER nurse somewhere in the States. And she's like, oh, this is how much I made in my last year, in my first year setting up an account. I never thought this was, literally.
I'm taking notes. So how much did she make?
$100,000
Oh my gosh.
US.
On the side.
And she's still working as a nurse, married, has kids,
Oh,
all this
wow.
stuff. And I was just like jaw dropped. I was like, oh, interesting. Like I'm not, and it's not really from a perspective of like, I'm going to judge her. I'm really curious. Like what is the pull? And I think
So what was her content though?
So she didn't specifically say.
Okay.
She said that she likes teaching. She's very good at talking. She's very good at presenting herself. And I thought, what kind of content are you teaching people about how you draw blood? Like, you know, you're giving, I don't know, but I'm assuming that it's got to have some sort of sexual connotation. Yeah. There's got to be something in there.
But you told me about somebody who was not really sexual,
yes.
but was like just
so
being...
Here's the thing. I can't remember the name, but anyways, I saw this woman posting videos on TikTok about how she has an OnlyFans account.
Okay.
And she's like singing the praises of teaching other women how to set up accounts, but attracting men who love to be treated badly.
Okay.
So she's like, girls, this is where you can make money and not post any nudity, not post anything about yourself. Treat them like dirt and get money for this. And I was really intrigued. I was like, oh, interesting. So her whole thing is treating her fans like the ex-girlfriend or the girl that you can't get.
Right.
Basically. Right. And she said, if I had a boyfriend right now, I would be making double because I would be posting pictures of myself and him on vacation, driving, going to dinner, doing all this stuff. And then my content would be geared towards telling these fans, look at what you can't have. Or look at the fun I'm having without you. And it's this whole...
And they just keep paying for it. This is weird.
It's a mind melt. I was like, what?
There's another
People
word.
Loved, I know. It's like people want to be treated like dirt, and you're finding them and you're giving them that. Like, I'm sad that there are people out there who actually enjoy that. And at the same time, okay, she's making a great living. Like, she was posting about how her car has been paid for. She's gone on trips.
But hasn't this always been a thing,
crazy.
though? Like, that there's people out there who manage to do this? Or is
yeah,
it
they used to be called kept women or the other woman, or you would have affairs with rich men and they would pay for your lifestyle.
Like no, more so the idea of fetishes or men being into like
absolutely,
like
absolutely
being, I don't know, spanked or being
whatever controlled.
For sure. But fetishes, like foot fetishes for, I don't know, elbows. I don't know.
Whatever it is.
It's always been a weird zone that you don't get into. But the fact that there's actually a subscription site that people pay for and do these things.
Yes.
It's been going on for quite some time, right?
There are different ways. I feel like this is the new version of that, and it's actually a really smart way to monetize things if you're a content creator. Right. So think about this. You do a 5-minute video in your bikini, for example, and you're dancing. So your fans are like, I want to see that exclusive content. You send out the video to whoever pays, I don't know, $20 for the video.
Wow. Okay.
Let's just say $10 for the video even. Let's say you had 100,000 fans and I don't know, 10% of them are paying for this. That's money. That's literally money in your pocket. And I mean, the site takes a 20% cut, right? So that's how they cover their costs for running the site. But essentially, it is a way for women, and I don't knock them. It's another form of income for women. And what used to be considered really low class, bottom of the barrel type of work like sex work, which in years past has always kind of been seen that way. It's now almost shown to be or presented as a liberation of women. Like, I can now own myself. I can make money doing this. It's way easier than me having to have a 9-to-5 job, and I make more money. And a lot of these young girls, I find, I would think, are using this because they can. I mean, heck, wouldn't you like to make, double your income right now and make and not have to work and stay at home and send out videos?
Is like, this a promotion show for OnlyFans?
I'm not really, like, I'm just saying,
no,
I can totally understand where some women are coming from. Right. And so some of these girls maybe are paying to go through college so that they can do something else with their life later. Who knows? Right. So or trying to make ends meet. Like this nurse, I was like, why are you doing this?
Right.
And she's like, I just wanted to make some extra side money. And everyone's doing a side hustle.
I feel like you kind of have to these days, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's driving it, right? This whole, like, so you think about the gig economy, where people are doing side hustles, people are, doing something outside of their work, or there's sometimes that's all they're doing, right? They're doing these contracts, they're doing freelance work. Fiverr's really important, big on that. There's so many different websites and different ways to make money now online. This happens to be another one.
And what is your take on it? Like, I know that you say that you don't judge it, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm all about, trying to figure out a way to make money smart, not hard, right?
Yeah.
Like smart, not hard.
Right.
And by all means, if you can figure it out and kind of beat the system, why not? Right? Like, why not? So what's your take on it? Like,
well, for me, it's the thing is, I don't feel like I judge the women who are on there because I can really understand where some of them might be coming from.
Okay.
And from a psychological perspective, you think about it, all social media feeds this loop that we all have, this dopamine loop,
right?
Where you get more likes, you get more positive feedback, say online. But in this way, you're getting likes, you're getting fans, you're getting paid. And so I feel like it feeds this whole loop of self-worth. Whether I believe that that's a good way to do it or not is one thing, but it does feed something in you, right? It does feed that level of going out into the world and wanting to be liked and wanting to be admired. It's such a deep, deep drive for human beings to be
Right.
liked, right?
Yeah.
So to be even accepted. And so I feel like I can understand that, what's driving that. I'm sad because I don't think that it's contributing to society in a healthy way.
No.
I do think that porn in general is so detrimental for people. It is so detrimental for men. And I think we should do a full show on that at some point, on the psychology of men, on how it's affecting relationships. Same with women, right? Like, I think that sites like these are unfortunately contributing to things that I don't feel are really healthy for men and women and their dynamics in general.
Got it. Yeah.
But I can understand from a business perspective how it would make sense for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, in these days, like, it's kind of like, it's hard.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard to get by, and a lot of people are suffering. And if you can figure out a way to do it, that's really what's happened. It's like, oh, I set up an OnlyFans account, but
Right.
I'm not about it. you know
Yeah,
that.
of course.
But it is a good running joke. Nonetheless.
Like, it's not something I personally would feel drawn to do myself, and I wouldn't encourage my kids to get involved in anything like that or consume it. I have a son as well. I wouldn't encourage him to consume that kind of content, even as an adult, just because I know how detrimental it can be to your psyche on both sides of the aisle, for sure. That's just my take on it, and that's purely from the idea of self-worth, self-love, and truly being able to accept yourself, right? And some people would argue, well, I do accept myself and I love my body and I don't mind sharing it that way. That's fine.
Right.
I personally don't think that that's going to really, that wouldn't fly for me. You know, I don't derive my self-worth from that. So maybe it's different for other people. But yeah, I just think it's really fascinating because I was just trying to figure out, like, wow, why is this, like, really what's driving this? And one of the things that was really interesting about it, because I'm thinking you can get free content anywhere, right? So why would you pay for it here? But
exactly.
I think part of the psychology is this, and in psychology, here's a big fat term I'm gonna throw at you. It's called the idiosyncratic fit heuristic. What that simply means is there's an allure of exclusivity. And we actually do use this all the time in business and marketing.
We do that in sales.
This
like, you're
whole
going to be
idea,
the only one getting this.
Only one. Right. You're going to be exclusive access to something. Right. Almost every business now uses that. And that's really the whole platform is based on this exclusivity, this feeling that you can buy my time or you can have me all to yourself in some way, shape, or form. Right. And I think with, following COVID, a lot of people are now sort of losing that human touch and starting to move into this way of interacting with others through social media.
Right.
With this kind of wall between them, right? It's this what's it called? It's called a parasocial relationship. So the type of relationship where, and this is totally on OnlyFans, it totally works on social media where, we do this. We consume content from, say, someone that we admire online, right? And they tell us a little bit about their story, about their life, and we feel like we know them, but they don't know us. So I feel like I have a relationship with that person and I know about them and they're letting me into their life. And there's this one-sidedness to our relationship that works, right? It gets me to come back and try to continue to consume content from them. Right. So really smart. But this is really how a lot of people are starting to operate. I feel like people are starting to lose that ability to have that two-way communication, that two-way type of relationship. And they're opting for this parasocial type of relationship where I'm just gonna feel like I know you. You're going to put all your stuff out there, but I don't actually have to contribute. Like, I don't actually have to do anything. Right. So it's a way to sit back and just simply like consume and still feel like I'm connected. So it does to some degree alleviate that sense of loneliness, which a lot of us felt since COVID.
And probably still have.
Right. There's a lot of people who have just kind of fallen off and they're just doing their own thing and they're not socializing as much.
Right.
And so this feeds that need for social contact. So
I get it.
I know. But look at your face. You're like, oh my God, that's so sad.
It is so sad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
because I say to my kids sometimes, like, and they're very social beings, right?
Yeah,
They're very
yeah.
social. And
Yeah.
I always say, like, just go outside and play, because you don't want them to be
Yes.
stuck in their rooms. And
Right.
And then you think about us as adults, like, we, kind of just hibernate, right? Instead of
do.
being social and being out in the world. And it's sad, because I think we are social beings. We're meant to be around others, but not online, like physically, like face to face, hanging out, doing things.
But it takes a
enjoying
lot
this
of
world.
effort. Like, it
It
takes
is.
a
Oh my
lot of
God,
effort.
It's so much work.
Right?
Yes.
Even my friendships. I mean, sometimes I notice, I'm like, oh my God, my friendships, like this, some of my friends who don't live in the city, granted,
Right.
maybe live somewhere else. Our friendship is based on midnight memes to each other. Do you do that? Right? Like, you
Yes.
just send these memes back and
messages.
forth. I miss you. I love you. Da 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 da. Funny meme, video. This reminded me of you. I do that all the time.
Right.
Right. And
But it's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not as physically seeing
right?
someone.
Yeah, absolutely. But we are getting used to doing
But you
that.
got to monetize on that and set up an OnLifans and just be like, subscribe so that we can stay
so
friends.
we can stay friends. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? That's Lord. I don't have time for that. I really, it'd be a lot.
I know.
I would do a faceless something
Here's
with my
my
back
feet.
turned to you. I would just be talking to you for, I don't even know.
Here's
I
my
don't know how that
feet.
would.
Just
I'm
ha-
sure. And the thing is, I'm
yeah.
sure that there are content creators on there. I'm not saying it's all porn. I'm just saying probably the majority of it is.
Right.
And if you want to make a lot of money, I'm sure that's an easier way to do it versus people who are just on there baking bread.
Right.
I don't know. Is
Yeah.
someone going to pay me to watch me bake bread? Maybe. Maybe I have enough of, and there are other accounts out there who follow the same model where you subscribe to exclusive content like Patreon.
Right. Yes.
Absolutely, right? That's a subscription. You pay for the content that people put on there, and a lot of people put a lot of content on there and have their fans and whatever. But I just thought it was really interesting because I'm just noticing how obviously it's been prevalent online. People make jokes about it that aren't involved in it.
Yes.
And other people
know nothing about it.
Right.
Really.
And other people are like, well, actually, I'm making a killing on here.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's paid for my car, or it's paid for me to go through college. And I just thought, wow, that's a really interesting concept. I mean, where can a young person do that with, say, a regular part-time job? Like, I worked my butt off to put myself through school when I was in university. Part-time jobs from the time I was 14 all the way through. So I had to save money for like 4 years before even going to university with the intent of doing that.
Right.
What 14-year-old right now is going to do that? Right. And who has the opportunity to do that?
Right.
I can see what the allure is. But I'm just sad. I'm sad that that's the way that we're rewarding people.
I know.
I'm sad that we're kind of contributing to people's self-worth through this particular way, this particular method. But I don't know. What would you do? So that's just kind of, all the information that I found. What do you think? What do you think people like our age would be interested in doing on a platform like that? Do you think that that's something,
I don't know.
Women in their 40s would, like, I saw a woman in her 40s doing this and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
I'm
just
curious.
so interesting I think it should
Yeah.
just all just blow up and then just like start
All
from
of it needs to
scratch.
go.
We just need to start like,
Yeah.
sticks and stones with
Oh my
relationships and
gosh.
sticks and stones with the ideologies and the things that are being pushed. It's going back to just that day and age where we communicated, physically in person and had more wholesome relationships. And I mean, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess.
Yeah.
And as we navigate that and we come up with topics, or we go online and we see other things that other people are talking about, the male and the female relationship in general is like a debacle. Like it's just a mess.
Ooh.
So to add to it, I
difficult.
mean, we have all these topics, but to add to it, porn, OnlyFans just makes it worse. In terms of whether or not women our age. I mean, I think you can do anything at any age. I mean, I've seen.
Yeah.
At this point, nothing
We've
would
seen it all.
surprise
This
me.
is true. You've sent me some videos that I've been
Nothing
like,
surprises
wow.
me
Yes,
anymore.
absolutely.
Like,
Yes,
anymore.
yes,
Like
yes.
if that hasn't taught you anything in 2020 onwards, like nothing surprises me anymore. So, so I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be, but I do believe like there's this part of me that's, you know, I honor a person who's wanting to think outside the box. Not like...
Yep. I fully agree with you there.
Not on the porn thing, but I'm saying just generally like somebody who's like, hey, you know what? Like, this is what I'm going to do. So I honor that, you know, and I do push that for anybody to be able to work smart, not hard, but
yeah, that makes total sense. Anyways, so I just thought I would ask what you think of putting feet pics out there. What should we do? Should we start an account?
I have great feet.
Because definitely
My
the
family,
nails
not so
are not
much.
working. Yeah, I can't do the hands, but actually I can't do my feet either. That would just be weird, and they're not very pretty.
Yeah, it's this whole thing. It's like we're just on YouTube, okay? We're just doing and we have clothes on.
Oh my
so,
gosh, yeah. I love it. All right, well, thanks for joining us today, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.